So to quote the iconic Valerie Cherish, well, I got it. It being a fucking parking ticket. Okay? Just as I suspected the other night when it was snowing. If you're watching on YouTube, here is Exhibit A. I got a parking ticket at 4 o'clock in the morning for $75, violation, no parking, snow ordinance. Now let's just look at the facts here, folks, okay? First of all, it was not forecasted to snow that much on Saturday. I thought we were getting a dusting of like 5 inches, okay? When I left work and I got home, there were no spots in the lot. And to be clear, the lot can only accommodate 6 vehicles. So there are rarely ever spots available. I had nowhere to park but on the street. I live on this street, and I didn't think it was supposed to snow that much. So I never thought that they would be plowing at 4 o'clock in the morning. Why are they plowing at 4 o'clock in the morning? With all due respect to our brave officers in Sag Harbor, get a life. Like, what are you doing up at 4 a.m. ticketing people just so they can wake up the next day and have their day ruined? Like, I understand you need to plow, but there needs to be a better system. First of all, this ordinance should not go into effect until 8 o'clock in the morning, right? Or 9 o'clock in the morning. So that if it does snow unexpectedly and you've parked on the street, at least you can wake up and say, oh shit, let me go move my car before I get a ticket. But to just ticket somebody in the middle of the night is disgrazia, as they say in Italian. And I'm going to go to court and I'm going to fight this. And I'm going to, plead my case to the judge and hope that they rule in my favor, because it's the principle of the thing. Like, it's freezing temperatures, it's icy, and frankly, instead of focusing on the roads, especially these small residential streets, they should be focusing on the sidewalks, which are not safe for pedestrians to walk on. They are not shoveled properly. They are not salted properly. The walkways are not cleared. There are not clear paths. I mean, have you seen the intersection by Salon Xavier and Provisions and the gym? You got to walk all the way around mounds of snow to safely cross the street because they have not yet shoveled at the crosswalk. That is unacceptable. So I just think that they need to get their priorities straight here in Sag Harbor. Now listen, I did not want to start this episode by ranting about this. I really didn't. I wanted to start by ranting about the Super Bowl halftime show, because I just have to say, I am so sick of some of the shit that I'm seeing online. Okay? And this is not about Jill Zarin, who's a dear friend of mine. It's not about the housewives. It's not about really anyone who has an ignorant opinion. Like, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them. I don't believe in cancel culture. Everyone should be able to have their opinion. And I don't agree with a lot of what I'm seeing. But certainly Jill's not the only one that feels this way. So I feel like she shouldn't be necessarily singled out. Look at what Megyn Kelly said. Look at what tons of other people are saying. So let's just give Jill a second to regroup here. This Super Bowl halftime show has clearly been divisive, but from my point of view, it's just dividing those of us who are cultured and have an appreciation and a respect for other cultures and languages and art and music from the white trash among us, because that's what I'm seeing. A lot of opinions that I would just label as white trash. You are white trash and you're proving it. I thought the halftime show was fantastic. In the moment, I could not hear a thing. And I think that was twofold. One, Vanessa, if you're listening, I think you need to have someone from Sony come out and do a little diagnostic on your television and the speakers, because we could not hear it very clearly. And two, I happened to be watching the Super Bowl with a large group of Puerto Rican people and Hispanic people, and they were screaming so loudly that I, again, could not hear the actual music emitting from the television. But it didn't matter. I was so excited in the moment. Just to be surrounded by people who could understand the lyrics, and in that moment clearly felt such pride and enthusiasm to have their culture represented. That made me feel proud as an American that we are taking this moment to say to the world, we accept and we embrace each other and we celebrate other cultures, okay? And let's not forget that Bad Bunny is an American citizen, folks. Okay, there have been plenty of non-natural citizens who've performed at the halftime show in English, and no one ever said a thing. So this is not about citizenship. It's clearly about language. But you know what? Music should and does, to those of us who can appreciate it, transcend language barriers. Does it not? I don't have a clue what they're saying in Titi Mi Pregunta, but you know what? I don't need to, because the fucking melody and the rhythm and the melody and the rhythm. There you go. That's all you need to get your booty shaken. And I have been shaking my booty, and I have been twerking to that song for several years before I even knew it was Bad Bunny. So let's be clear about that, guys. That was a wonderful performance. The set was beautiful. It was visually interesting. It was symbolic. And it was all about positivity and love. A couple got married. I mean, how could you criticize that? You're just looking for an excuse to politicize anything and everything. And quite frankly, it's pathetic. And you know what? It's not Bad Bunny's responsibility to unite the world on Super Bowl Sunday, okay? If you think that that performance was so divisive, well, let's look at some of the other people in this world who are dividing us with the things that they say in English, okay? Seriously, it's like he was not reading the Declaration of Independence or the Bill of Rights. He was singing his music, which is in Spanish. My God. What else about the Super Bowl performance? I have no idea why Alex Earl was there. I really don't. I have no idea how this young woman has just seeped into mainstream media and pop culture. I just don't get it. I feel like there were many, many more deserving people to be on that stage. I was thrilled to see Lady Gaga. She looked beautiful. She sounded beautiful. It was really surprising. I don't know why she chose to sing that of all songs. Why did she sing Die With a Smile, her duet with Bruno Mars solo? Like, I feel like if she wanted something that kind of aligned with the Latin theme, she could have picked any number of other songs, like something from her Joanne album. You know, girl, where do you think you're going? Something like that. But it was really exciting to see her nevertheless. Oh, Ricky Martin. Hello, Livin' La Vida Loca. Nobody had a problem with Spanish music then, right? When the whole world was jamming out to Livin' La Vida Loca. God, I hate to circle back to that, but it's so stupid that people actually have a problem with this. I mean, speaking of Titi Mi Pregunta, I've been listening to that again since the Super Bowl because it's now kind of like back on my radar. And that is a fucking jam. And I'll never forget the first time I heard it. I was in a nightclub in Buenos Aires. I was there in Argentina, for Nicole and Ben's wedding. Vanessa and I, that was our first international trip together. And oh boy, was it a memorable one. That night in particular, I really will never forget. We went to a nightclub for Nicole's bachelorette party a few days before the actual wedding, and it was probably the drunkest I have been in my 30s. I really went balls to the wall because we had no choice. I think we were going to the club at 3 a.m. It was one of those places. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm committing to this, and I'm just going to be drinking all evening into the early morning hours. And when I tell you, I think I violated every single one of my mother's cardinal rules that she instilled upon me when I was a kid. I was in a very, very, very crowded nightclub. I had no idea where the exit was. I couldn't tell you if it was left, right. Had no idea. Not only did I leave my drink unattended, I think I probably handed it to a stranger and said, "Can you hold this for me while I go outside to the parking lot to smoke a hand-rolled cigarette that was given to me by another stranger?" Okay. I woke up the next day. I had the worst hangover. I had downloaded the Santander banking app. For what reason? I don't know. I don't know who or what I was trying to pay for, but thankfully there were no transactions. But no, it was really a night to remember. And it was the first time that I heard Titi Mi Pregunta. And I've been a better person ever since then. But I'm no stranger to reggaeton. Hello, Donna Marie Mascoli. We were in high school. I'm going back, now how many years? How many years ago was 2000 and 2003, 2004, so 20 plus years ago, we were listening to Dale, Dale, Don Dale, that, and Dímelo. So, I mean, we love reggaeton music and Spanish music. Gloria Estefan, hello, the fucking Cuban queen. Everyone loves Spanish music then. How about Selena? Huh? No Chick-fil-A sauce? I love that. Anyway, enough about that. But seriously, guys, like, just get your priorities straight and just stop fucking complaining about everything. All right? You want to be such a patriot? You want to be all American English? Go to a fucking concert in Nashville, eat some fucking corn dogs, and just shut the fuck up. All right? Meanwhile, you go to Europe, and every country, they have all of their signage, all of their announcements in their beautiful native language, and then in English. Why is that? Is that because, yeah, English is the universal language, but it's also like embarrassing. Like, it's like the lowest common denominator of communication. We're like the idiots that don't have a special language. Think about that for a second, okay? All right, that rant is over. Now, I am currently missing the men's individual short program. I think Ilia is about to skate right now. And I realize this, I prefer to watch it on replay. I like to kind of spoil it for myself by reading the headlines and the recap before I actually watch it, because I get such anxiety watching it. I am really on the edge of my seat, and I don't enjoy it because I'm like, are they going to fall? Are they going to fall? Are they going to fall? With ice skating in particular, less so with gymnastics, because I just feel like the margin for catastrophe and injury and falling badly in ice skating is worse than in gymnastics. So I like to know how my athlete did, generally speaking, before I watch it. So I'll read the headlines, and if they say Ilia Malinin, skates a flawless short program in the men's individual short, then I'll watch it comfortably. If I read the headline and it says Ilia stumbles his way through, then at least I'm mentally prepared and I'm not going to be blindsided by watching it live. So I will do, maybe I'll do a recap on Instagram, I'm trying to kind of balance what I talk about and share on the podcast versus what I just talk about and share in real time on Instagram, if anyone cares about my inner, strategy. Now, speaking of strategy, wearing this Marty Supreme windbreaker was probably not the smartest because it's very noisy. You hear that? I'm going to have to somehow minimize that in post. Speaking of ice skating, I often think about what music I would choose to skate to if I were an Olympian. And by the way, I had this conversation with Lisa Gallo the other day. I said I always wanted to be an Olympian. Not that I ever came close, to be clear, because she kind of put me on the spot and was really, really patronizing me. Like, did you think you could become an Olympian? Did you ever have a coach or someone in your life say, oh, he's got the ability? I said, no, Lisa, no, I'm not delusional. I'm saying I always wished I could have the ability to compete in the Olympics. And I wished that I could have had that talent and that skill and that discipline to dedicate my life to a sport. And I said there were two sports in particular that at least I excelled in when I was younger and I had some sort of natural ability, and that was swimming and skiing. So I feel like if I had maybe practiced more, you never know. And she just wouldn't accept that. She was very, very dismissive of my Olympic dreams. And you know what? I think that really says a lot about who Lisa Gallo is. Don't be fooled, guys. She's a Gemini, don't forget. She can switch on you like a light switch. But I do think that if I were going to skate in the Olympics, I would want a really kind of high energy, upbeat song. Some of these people skate to these really depressing, sonatas and minuets, and it just doesn't do it for me. I feel like I would want either, let's think about this, a Lady Gaga melody of some sort would probably kill it, or maybe Cher. I feel like you could do something really amazing with some Cher songs, or ABBA. No, that would be it. It would be an ABBA. It would be an ABBA melody. Yeah, that's it. And it would be inspired by, or I'm Italian, so maybe I should do something more Italian versus Greece. Maybe it could be, oh, I know, maybe it could just be Bad Bunny. Tell everyone to fucking suck it. Now, I was excited earlier as I was scrolling on Instagram to see that there's going to be a new Nancy Meyers movie starring some of my favorites like Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem. Now, I was excited for two reasons. Primarily because I thought Nancy Meyers had died. And I mean that sincerely. I confused Nancy Meyers with Nora Ephron. I just remember recently when Nora died, I just for some reason like associate those two together because of all of their iconic romantic comedies. And so when I saw that headline, I thought, oh my God, Nancy's alive. How great. I mean, hello, something's got to give. Filmed right down the street in Southampton. I drive by that house sometimes. Well, rarely. Only if I'm actually going to show someone that the house is there. It's not the kind of location that you just drive by. I don't go to the beach in Southampton. I know. Cooper's Beach, voted best in the world, and it is beautiful, but there are nicer beaches in the Hamptons, everyone. Let's talk about it. Let's do the ranking right now. That was a nice, seamless, organic transition to best beaches in the Hamptons. I think you have to kind of differentiate between beach for sunbathing and swimming and just beach for like beauty and overall ambiance and atmosphere. Like if I'm picking the most beautiful beach in the Hamptons, I'm probably going to say Georgica Beach, but more so because of the route that you need to take to arrive at the beach. Down Lily Pond Lane is just the most stunning street, I think, in my opinion, in the Hamptons, with those beautiful arching trees. And then when you go around that blind eye curve and it opens up to Lily Pond and Georgica Pond, and you see the houses in the distance. And then when you're on Georgica Beach itself and the homes are just magnificent. And it's just, to me, it feels like elite, right? But then there's the beach that you want to go to spend the day. And for me, that would probably be Sag Main Beach in Sagaponack, because again, I like the drive there. You can pass by the Sagaponack General Store, pick up some snacks. You might want to stop by the bank first to mortgage your home because you're going to pay a pretty penny for a bag of potato chips there, but worth it. And then when you get to the beach, they have a nice bathroom and shower facility, and they also have some concessions on site, which I appreciate. That's where I would usually go to the beach to spend the day. Now, there's also Peters Pond in Sagaponack, or is it Wainscott? No, I think it's Sagaponack. That's also a really beautiful beach. Old Reliable, Ocean Road Beach in Bridgehampton, Meacox. Oh, Scott Cameron. Now, Scott Cameron is beautiful because you get a view of both the bay, or maybe it's not the bay. It might be, let's look. What body of water is that? Hold on, and let's see if Google can do this. Because I use voice to text now. What body of water borders Scott Cameron Beach in Bridgehampton? Oh, it's not doing. What body of water not bodies, what did I say? I'm having a stroke. Hold on, start again. What body of water borders Scott Cameron Beach in Bridgehampton, New York? Oh, it's Meacox Bay. Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, and when they do the cut, once a year, they cut like the sand between the bay and the ocean, and it creates this like incredible rushing river effect. Very cool. And you can also kind of see the sunset at Scott Cameron, which you don't really see at other ocean beaches, right? As we know, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, right? Everyone, what kind of lesson would that be? What subject? Language arts? Science? I don't know. Geography? Anyway, so you can see the sunrise at the ocean beach and the sunset on the bay beach, like if you're at Long Beach in Sag Harbor or Crescent Beach on Shelter Island, etc., etc. Now, there's also some fabulous beaches in Montauk, but that's a whole separate conversation. How did we get here? Oh, right. We got here because I started talking about... Actually, I couldn't tell you how we got here. The last conversation I remember was me saying that I thought, oh, there it is. There's the connection. That Nancy Meyers had died, but it's actually Nora Ephron, and talking about the house from Something's Gotta Give. Now, going back to the Nora Ephron, Nancy Meyers of it all, along the same lines, this weekend at the Super Bowl, I learned that Brandi Carlile is not Belinda Carlisle. Imagine that. This whole time when people, specifically Liza Tremblay, if you're listening, a colleague of mine, has been going all over the world, sort of a groupie, if you ask me, to Brandi Carlile concerts. I thought she was going to Belinda Carlisle concerts. So I'd always be like, oh, ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. She never corrected me once, by the way. So that's on you, Liza. But Brandi did a great job singing. I don't remember if it was America the Beautiful or God Bless America or Proud to be an American or, Gasolina. I couldn't tell you. The whole day was a blur Sunday. What I do remember most vividly about Sunday were the elite snacks prepared by Miss Vanessa Corrali and her chef de cuisine and her partner, Daniel Cruz, who's a wonderful chef in New York City. He really outdid himself. When I tell you the spread that they put out, legendary. And there were plenty of coconut shrimp. I got enough wings, and I even took some home. My favorite was probably the shrimp salsa. Those of you who referred to it as ceviche, I think you're incorrect because the shrimp was fully cooked and it was more of a salsa consistency. I loved the bacon wrapped dates. I loved the potato chips and the onion dip. Listen, give me a bag of crunchy potato chips and a bowl of onion dip, and I'm like a pig in shit, But I will say I felt it the next day, yesterday. I woke up and my eyes were like swollen shut. I was so bloated and puffy from the salt, both in the food and on the rim of my margarita glass. I don't know how some of these food influencers specifically eat the way they do. I actually don't know if they do eat the way they do. Yeah, I'm going to say it. There is something so sus about some of these mukbangers. Does anyone know that term, mukbang? If you don't, now you do. I don't know, man. All I know is that I see these people eat what looks like 10,000 calories a day in crumble cookies and pasta and Chipotle and In-N-Out Burger and Wendy's and sandwiches and Swedish candy. I don't understand because they seem to be inhaling this food on a daily basis to film these videos, and yet their weight does not fluctuate 1 ounce. Whereas now, if I eat more than 10 almonds a day, I wake up the next day and my underwear is tight. So I really don't understand how some of these people eat what they eat, but I guess that's none of my business. I should just stop following them, but I can't. It's one of those weird things that I like. I like watching these people stuff their faces. What about the people that identify themselves? They say they're fatties, and they'll do what I eat in a day is a fatty. I feel that way every day, but yet I'm eating kale salad and Redefine meals. Have I spoken about Redefine, by the way? I think I have. I don't think I've aired that episode yet. Shit. I think I've made a terrible blunder here, which is I've recorded a few episodes that I've not yet released, and now I obviously have to release this one urgently because it's, timely. I'm talking about the Super Bowl and men's figure skating. Like, I can't let this sit on the shelf. So this has to go out before some of those other episodes. This is why I do need a team. I'm a one-man show, guys. I don't think people realize what I do. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but beep, beep, motherfucker. I mean, I am really performing at a level lately that even I'm impressed with. And I credit it to the lion's mane, and I think, ironically, maybe the calorie deficit. I think starving myself has actually given me more energy. Makes sense, though. They say that. I hope I got the cast of that Nancy Meyers movie right. I know I saw Penelope Cruz. I don't know if I saw Javier Bardem. I just assume that anything she's in, he's in. Is that a safe assumption? Let's see. New Nancy Meyers movie. Nancy Meyers is directing a new movie. The star-studded film features Penelope Cruz, Kieran Culkin, Jude Law, Emma Mackey, and Owen Wilson. Oh, shit. I'm sorry then. Javier Bardem is not in that movie. I'm anxiously awaiting the updates from the Olympics. Should we look online and see if there's anything? Meanwhile, if you watch the Olympics, you might be surprised to see tons and tons of empty seats at this arena in Milano where the figure skating is occurring. I looked online months ago and I was considering going to Milan to see the Olympics in person. The tickets were astronomical, thousands and thousands of dollars, I think, for a single day of events. Yet there's hundreds, if not thousands, of empty seats. So make this make sense. Why are they overcharging for tickets and then underselling? Wouldn't they rather... Actually, that's a good question, actually, if you think about it. Let's say they charge $1,000 a ticket and 100 people buy tickets, so they make $100,000 versus they charge $50 a ticket and 200 people buy tickets. So they're making the same amount of money, but there's twice as many people in the venue, and more people sometimes just equals more problems. More people, more problems, right? Maybe there is a strategy behind pricing the tickets too high as a way to have crowd control. I would just think, though, that the athletes would want to have more excitement and energy in the room, but maybe I'm wrong. Can I get an Olympic athlete to verify? Do I know any Olympic athletes? I bet you I do. Does anyone who's listening to this podcast that follows me, has anyone competed in the Olympics? If so, can you please DM me and we can schedule a time for a little one-on-one? Oh, that iced coffee is very good. Was there anything else that I wanted to cover on this episode? Well, I feel like this was a particularly passionate episode for me. I could feel it, and I don't know how that's going to resonate with listeners. I hope that people understand and respect my point of view, just like I don't agree with a lot of people when it comes to how they feel about the Super Bowl halftime show, but I'm accepting and on some level respecting that you're entitled to your opinion. I just don't agree with it. So I hope people feel the same way about moi. And I also should issue a public apology now to Lisa Gallo. She's not that terrible. We love her, and she's got a great sense of humor. She takes everything in stride. And with that, I will say, have a wonderful, wonderful week. What do we have to look forward to this week? Hopefully the safe return of Nancy Guthrie. Really, that's honestly like at the top of my wish list right now. I feel terrible for that family and for this woman. I just don't understand like how this is happening. There's something extremely like surreal about it. Like, how does this happen? This is really the kind of thing that you see and hear about in movies, or like an act of like war. Like, how does this elderly woman get abducted from her home and now she's held for ransom? And it seems like some of the details are just very, very fishy. And I don't know if that points to someone in the family being involved and this being an inside job, or if she was just, God forbid, killed in some sort of home invasion gone wrong, and now they're withholding the body to try and make it look like a napping and a ransom, a la John Benet Ramsey, but the poor woman is really dead. I don't know. All I know is that it's just very, very bizarre and like shocking. And I hope that there is a happy and peaceful outcome for everyone involved. So let's all say a prayer for Nancy. And with that, I will let you enjoy the rest of your week. Stay tuned for more episodes, and don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share. Ciao, ciao for now. Or should I say adios?